Hi everyone, and welcome to week 4 of Yoga for Beginners. So this is our last session together, and I hope you have managed to practice some of the previous weeks, but if not, don't worry. These resources are available to you forever, so you can always check back in and pick whatever week you want to start with. Yeah, and if you have managed to practice, I hope it's been enjoyable and that it's kind of given you an insight into the type of yoga that I teach, and that I think is extremely beneficial for those of us who are looking for a more restorative and gentler practice. So I wanted to start today's practice off with a breath practice. The breath really is kind of the starting point, or the fundamental kind of basic element of yoga. Without the breath, nothing is really possible. And when we're practicing yoga, it's, you will have heard over the last few weeks, I'm always kind of asking you to bring your awareness back to your breathing, because there are so many things that we can learn from our breath. So when we're feeling anxious, we might not realize we're being anxious until we're or we're feeling anxious until we kind of tune into the breath, and we realize that we're mainly breathing from this part, the upper chest, which is means that we're breathing much kind of shallower breaths. So we're not allowing the breath to travel all the way down into the belly, which helps to calm the nervous system down. So if we're not even checking in with ourselves in terms of our breath, and we're trying to do a yoga practice, we're creating tension in the body, and there's blockages, and there won't be a flow of energy or prana in the body. So the breath really is just where we should always begin. And the breath practice, and it's referred to as the pranayam in the yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, it's a standalone practice, the breath. So there's this kind of idea, I guess, that yoga is primarily a physical practice, and it involves complicated bends and doing a sequence of sun salutations, but that is just one part of yoga. The breath is also part of yoga, and for a very long time, after the birth of my son, the breath was all I was able to do. But I was still practicing yoga, because yoga is, can be translated as a union of the body and the mind. And when we are using the breath in a conscious way, and we're able to kind of drop into that, we are uniting the body and the mind without even having to move. So that's just a little bit of background information about the breath. And I wanted just to start today off with a breath practice. A very simple one is going to be something that seems a little bit familiar from what we've been doing. And I would really encourage you, before doing any kind of yoga practice or any kind of meditation practice, if you're struggling to even get started, and you might not know where to start, then I would suggest tuning into the breath and giving yourself maybe 5 or 10 minutes of kind of breath awareness. And then you might find that you're instinctively inspired to move in a way that feels good for the body, instead of kind of doing the practice first, doing the movements first, and waiting for the inspiration to come. Okay, so as ever, I will ask you guys to find a comfortable seated position, either cross-legged or with legs straight out. I'm sitting on a cushion. You can sit with your back resting against something, in a chair or up against the wall. Or if today is feeling like a lying down day, then please honour that. And once you find your comfortable position, then either dropping the gaze or closing the eyes. And just becoming aware of your breath. So becoming aware of the sound of the breath. And whether you're breathing in and out through the nostrils, or maybe breathing in through the nostrils and out through the mouth, just allowing the awareness to stay with the sound of the breath. We're not changing anything about our breathing. Just breathing normally, inhaling and exhaling. Focusing on the sound. And now focusing on how the breath feels as it's moving in and out of the body. So the sensation of the breath passing in and out of the nostrils, or in and out of the mouth, depending on how you're breathing today. Maybe the breath feels cooler as you inhale and warmer as you exhale. So noticing the sensations on the skin. And they might begin to feel as if the breath is just getting a little bit more even, or maybe a little bit stiller. So the sound of the breath is a little more subtle. And staying with the breath, just allowing it to be whatever it is. Maybe following the breath and noticing where it travels to. So on the inhale, visualizing the breath traveling in and up through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, into the lungs. And just noticing where it travels to, where it stops. And as you exhale, visualizing the breath traveling all the way up and out. Might be that the breath feels quite shallow and is reaching the upper chest, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe the inhale is longer than the exhale, or maybe the exhale is longer than the inhale. And maybe welcoming in a sense of a slight deepening of the breath as you inhale. So if you could visualize the breath moving down into the lungs and all the way down into the belly. So you can feel the belly expanding and extending, just like a little baby, how they breathe with their bellies. And if you want to, you can visualize the ribs, like the wings and the side of the lungs, moving up and out with the inhale. and in and down with the exhale. So there's a feeling that the rib cage is expanding when we breathe in, and contracting as we breathe out, very naturally. If this feels a little bit new to you, it might take a little bit of time before you can feel that sense of expansion in the ribs or the belly, and you can place your hand on the ribs or the belly just to help with that feeling of expansion. And don't worry if it's only just a very subtle movement. It doesn't have to be a huge feeling of expansion, just a very gentle feeling of filling up the body with the inhale and allowing the breath just to move down into the lungs and feeling that belly gently extending and contracting. As you exhale, just allowing the shoulders to drop down away from the ears, allowing the sit bones to settle on the earth a little bit more. And I'm going to invite you to direct your exhale out through the mouth, through slightly parted lips. And I want you to imagine that there's a golden thread or a ribbon extending out with the exhale through those lips. So there's a slight gap in between the upper lip and lower lip, but we're keeping the face and the lips very soft, so we're not pursing the lips in any way. So inhaling through the nostrils and then exhaling through the mouth, sending that little thread or that little ribbon away from the body with each exhale. I want you to think about sending it a little bit further away with each exhalation. So you might begin to notice that the exhale is very naturally becoming longer than the inhale. Doing this a few more times, noticing if there's a tendency to tense any part of the body, and if there is, just welcoming a sense of ease and softness into that area. just relaxing, coming back to the normal breath. Becoming aware of the breath and maybe noticing that the breath feels more expansive or regular. Maybe it feels as if you're dropping down a little bit more into the body. Keeping the eyes closed, I want you to begin touching the tips of your thumb to the tips of each of your fingers. So the index finger, gently pressing, feeling that connection between the index and the thumb. The middle finger, the fourth finger, and then the little finger. And releasing the hands. Bringing the palms in front of the heart, making that little bud or that little cave in the heart. And you can have the thumbs gently touching the breastbone, noticing if you're collapsing into the lower back, and if you are, maybe just having a little stretch up, visualizing the crown of the head moving up towards the sky and just lifting the heart. So there's a sense of opening in the front of the chest, very gentle. And dropping the awareness into the heart space. So when I talk about dropping the awareness, I just mean becoming aware of the heart space. So in a physical sense, that space in the center of the chest. And on a spiritual and emotional level, maybe just checking in with how you're feeling today. And if you don't know how you're feeling, then that's fine, allowing that as well. Just giving yourself a little bit of time and space just to check in. Maybe there's a little bit of anxiety and worry and sadness. Maybe there's contentment. Maybe there's numbness and disconnection. And welcoming all of that in. And in your own time, just gently opening the eyes and taking the gaze down to the hands. And we're going to do a little movement with the hands now. So just allowing the eyes to adjust to the light, maybe blinking a few times. And then bringing the hands a little bit in front of the heart, so there's a little bit of a gap between the hands and the body. I'm going to breathe deeply in on an inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to open the hands like the pages of the book. So if you're opening a little book in front of you, gazing into the hands and allowing the hands, the backs of the hands to come together. And then we're going to gently draw the fingers in towards the body and down and then out in front. And then we're going to inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to come back the way we came. So down. You can gently graze the chest as it comes around, back to the hands. And then as you come back, bringing the hands into Lotus Mudra. So the fingers and the thumbs come to touch and the fingers spread nice and wide into this open lotus. So inhaling at the heart. And you can have the gaze following the hands, exhaling as we open the wings of the heart. We send whatever is there, whether it's something that we want to let go or we want to share, out into the world, into the universe. Inhaling, and as we exhale, welcoming the goodness of all that is back into our heart in that lovely open lotus. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale, bringing the hands back to the heart, palms together. We're going to do the same movement 6 more times, but this time we're going to welcome in the sound of the seed mantra or the bija mantra for the heart chakra, so the heart center, which is YAM, Y-A-M. So you can chant this externally using your voice, or you can repeat it internally in your mind's eye or in your mind's voice. And we're going to do this on the exhale, okay? So this vibration is a wonderful one for helping to open the heart, for helping to remind us that there is joy and there is happiness out there, even if we're feeling as if that is a little bit impossible right now. And the reason that we chant it on the exhale is because it helps to lengthen the exhale and extend the exhale, which helps to calm the nervous system and to help us to connect more deeply to ourselves. So we're going to inhale fully. Two more times. Yam. Bringing the palms in front of the heart. And just allowing that vibration to settle in the body. Maybe placing the hands on the heart space, palms flat on the body. And seeing if we can welcome in a little bit more compassion and kindness for ourselves and for others. Allowing whatever insights or messages are coming up to just be. And when you're ready, letting that top hand just float gently down to the space below the navel, to the womb space, that wonderful center of deep intuitive wisdom, center of our creativity, sensuality. And again, whatever's coming up, or if there is a feeling of disconnection or numbness, just being okay with that. Knowing that just by simply bringing awareness to that area is enough. And bringing the awareness back to the breath, inhaling to the heart space. And exhale down to the womb space, connecting to that wonderful connection of energy, that river that flows from one space to the other. And as you inhale, visualizing the inhale moving all the way back up to the heart space. And exhaling down to the womb. So both of these spaces nourishing the other. Both of these spaces being honored. Being honored for their intuition, their wisdom. As we begin to listen to both of these spaces more, maybe we begin to understand ourselves a little bit more. Maybe we begin to realize how very powerful we are, and how we are wonderful just as we are, just existing. We are life itself in its physical form on this planet. And how wonderful that is. And when you're ready, bringing the hands in front of the heart again, palms together, leaving a little gap, inhaling at the heart. And as you exhale, turning the hands into that downward pointing triangle that represents the yoni, the womb space, that center of female power. Sliding the hands down to the womb, inhaling up to the heart. So you can either have the eyes open or you can follow the movement with the gaze. really honouring the body, even if that feels a little bit hard sometimes. Allowing the breath to be spacious. Allowing yourself to make as much noise and take up as much space as you need to. Inhaling to the heart. Exhaling down. And then allowing the hands to move down onto the earth. Gently touching the earth with the hands. Inhaling, triangle in front. Triangle above, taking the gaze up. And then exhaling, bringing the hands into the lotus mudra and drawing down back to the heart space. Inhaling at the heart. All the way down, connecting with the earth. Taking up that space in front and above. Drawing it all back down to the heart. That open lotus representing our capacity and ability to grow and expand even in the harshest of places. Allowing the breath to guide the movement. Listening to yourself if it feels like too much. Trusting that what your body is sharing with you is what is needed. As you become more familiar with these movements, you're able to drop in that little bit more and not think about them so much. So there's a more embodied sense. Inhaling at the heart. Filling up with all of that goodness. Exhaling. Letting it go, giving it to the earth. Inhaling into that expansive universe, calling in whatever it is that you want more of, trying to let go. And this time as you exhale, opening the elbows, gently shining the heart forward. And it's as if your hands are little nets, catching all of that wonderful energy and bringing it back to the womb. With that element of air, sliding the hands down past the fire in the belly, down to the root, to the earth. Inhaling, connecting to the element of space, all the way up. And exhaling, shining the heart forward, catching all of that lovely energy, maybe giving the fingers a little wriggle, bringing it back to the womb. To the heart. Going with the movement in your own time, following your own rhythm of breath. Let's do this 2 more times. Coming to rest with the hands on the body in Yoni Mudra. This downward pointing triangle, which represents the Shakti, the female energy that is in everything. So honoring that Shakti that lives inside of you, and honoring the Shakti that is so abundant in the world around us. Everything that we see, in every burst of color, in every blooming flower, that wonderful yin energy accompanied by the yang or the male energy. It's the upward pointing triangle, knowing that you cannot have one without the other. And really honoring that Shakti power that exists within you, even if it's sometimes hard to feel it, or even if we are condemned for expressing it. So maybe making a little intention today to honor that power within you, and to allow others to honor it within themselves. And releasing the hands, and gently bringing the soles of the feet together. Placing, taking hold of either the ankles or the shins or the knees, whatever is comfortable. We've done this practice before. So as we inhale, we're going to allow the toes to open up like little wings, and then exhale, bringing the toes gently back together. So again, the gaze can be on the feet, which sometimes helps to focus the mind. Or you can have the eyes closed. And as always, either exhaling through the nose or out through an open mouth. It sometimes helps to exhale through the mouth as it stops the jaw from clamping shut. If you do want to exhale through the nose, you can do what's known as Ujjayi breath or victorious breath, where the exhale almost sounds like a little wave crashing up against the shore. And you can imagine yourself saying the word ha with a closed mouth. And that sound coming from the middle of the throat. Just breathe in whatever way feels effortless. Spreading the toes, welcoming that energy into the body, and then gently bringing the toes together. And as we inhale, we're going to circle forward and then to the side, and exhale, gently rounding the back and coming back around, bringing the toes together so you can combine the movement of the feet with the movement of the body. Might take a little bit of practice. Or if it's too much with the feet, then just keeping the soles of the feet together, toes together, just circling around. Keeping the movement nice and slow. And then when you're ready, you can change the direction. Circling one more time and coming back to the center. We're going to move onto all fours. So coming into our tabletop position, shoulders above the hands, hips above the knees, spreading those fingers nice and wide, okay? So spreading them out nice and wide, placing them on the mat, and then leaving a little gap underneath the palms of the hands. And as we inhale, coming into our cow position, so taking the gaze up, stretching the front of the spine. And then exhale, rounding the back, chin moves towards the chest, gently pressing into the tops of the feet. Again, allowing the breath to guide the movement. Listen to the sound of your breath. Doing this one more time. Rounding the back. And then dropping the bum back to the heels, opening the knees nice and wide and coming down into a child's pose, either with the arms extended or bending the elbows and gently resting the top of the head, the backs of the hands. So whatever feels comfortable. You may want to push a little pillow under the head or even along the body, just to give yourself a little bit of softness and a bit of extra support. And if it feels less comfortable to have the head facing down, then just turning the head. Feeling that expansion across the lower back. Again, noticing how different it might be to breathe in this position. Visualizing those ribs, those wings moving up and out on the inhale and down and in on the exhale. Filling the breath with the inhale and letting it all go with the exhale. And when you're ready, gently pushing into the hands, walking the hands back up. And we're going to come to lying down. So today's practice was really just an opportunity for me to show you how powerful a breath practice can be, and then a very gentle kind of linking the breath with the movement, bringing in a little bit of sound. Sometimes our yoga practice doesn't have to be this kind of long 2-hour practice with lots of different physical postures. Sometimes it can just be the breath and the heart womb river practice that we do, and we move from the inhale of the heart down to the womb, and then even just a little bit of opening in the shoulders and the heart. And if that's all you have time for in order to make this more of a routine or a habitual practice, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be this big long practice. So our practice is just about 40 minutes of physical kind of breath and movement today, and we're going to do a short relaxation. But I really wanted to show you that less is always more, and an awareness of the breath really gives us the ability to kind of welcome in that stillness and welcome in that much needed dropping down that we all very much need. And then if you have time to do more of a practice, then great. But even if all you can do is just a little bit of breath awareness and a little bit of movement, and start off like that and just build on it, that is more than enough to get you started, and you will see huge benefits from that. Okay. So just finding a comfortable lying down position, making sure you're nice and warm and cozy. Get a blanket, pop some socks on, make your little nest. Give yourself plenty of time to settle. Pause this if you need to have a pee or have a water. When you're ready, just settling the bones of the body on the earth. See if you can just hand it over for the next 5 minutes or so. So again, closing down the eyes and allowing the awareness to come back to the breath. Again and again, we return to our breath. Our breath is the only constant that is connecting us all the time, and it's always there. observing the breath in its own way, noticing maybe some slight differences to the beginning of the practice, and seeing if we can just be present with the breath just for a few more minutes before we allow the mind to take over, reminding us of what it is we have to do next. So coming back to the sound of the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Maybe welcoming in the Ujjayi breath if you want to, just for a few rounds of breath. Noticing the feeling of the breath as it moves in and out on the skin, but also in the body. So that feeling of expansion in the chest, maybe the ribs and the belly filling up. And that feeling of contraction on the exhale. So it really feels as if the body is being breathed. And I love to visualize my wings moving up and out, my big angel wings on the inhale, as if I'm just about to soar into the sky. And as I exhale, the wings move down and in, gently bringing me back down to the earth. So there's this constant state of expansion and contraction. A movement up and a movement down. A welcoming in and a letting go. Can we let go of the need to know what's coming next? Can we relinquish control of our actions and of other people? Can we be comfortable sitting in the void, in the unknown? We do it all the time with our breath. This is what we do every time we exhale. We settle into the unknown. There's that slight pause at the end of the exhale before the inhale rushes in, which is the void, that place of stillness. So the more we're able to let go and surrender to the not knowing, the more at peace we can be, more present we can be. The greater the capacity to be surprised and just live simply in the wonder of life. I let go, I surrender. I'm supported by Mother. I have everything that I need. allowing the breath to move in and out without any attachment. Putting aside the shoulds and the coulds, the to-do lists, the responsibility. There is nothing for you to be doing other than just being in this moment right now. And welcoming in a sense of rejuvenation with the inhalation. So deepening the inhale. Again, connecting to the sound of the breath as it moves into the body. That sensation of fresh energy moving in. Maybe the air is a little bit colder. Filling the body. And this time welcoming in a sense of awe and wonder. A sense that anything is possible. Filling the space. And you can gently place one hand on the heart and one hand on the womb. Breathing deeply into the heart. And exhaling down to the womb. And in your own time, bringing the hands up to the heart. Stay lying down. Breathing deeply into the heart space. And either repeating with me or internally 3 times. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. Thank you for today's practice, and I encourage you to lie here comfortable in your wonderful nest for as long as you need to. I wanted to finish this practice with you lying down, warm and cozy, so if you have nothing to do for the rest of the day or even just for the next 10 or 15 minutes, then just gift yourself this period of rest. Allow yourself to be held by the mother. You are so deserving of rest, and I hope that we get to practice together.